Why zebras don't get ulcers? Have you ever wondered? Well, a zebra's stress response kicks in when the zebra is chased by a lion. When the zebra escapes, the stress response shuts off. In between predation attempts, the zebra is at ease. It doesn't flood itself with stress hormones. It doesn't sit wondering when the next lion is going to show up. We cannot run away from stress. We constantly worry and stress about tomorrow, about after tomorrow, about the future. And 90% of our illnesses are stress-related. And most of our eating problems or disorders are also stress-related. Research suggests that when people are in a crisis situation, the very first thing that changes is their eating behavior. Yes. Stress is gonna lead to increased levels of cortisol. Cortisol is gonna increase our appetite and thus will push us to eat more than we usually eat. And cortisol, this hormone, is gonna increase the deposits of fat around the abdomen area. So whenever we look at ourselves in the mirror and we notice that fat deposits are increasing in here, we need to ask ourselves, how much are we stressing out? And try to manage this as much as possible. Also, during stressful times, what happens? We tend to reward ourselves by eating high sugar, high comfort foods that are loaded in fat and sugar, because sugar is going to act on our brains, a certain neurotransmitter known as dopamine. That's the same neurotransmitter that's emitted when we do something that's rewarding and gives us this great feeling. When we eat sugary items, we're going to have the same feeling, and this will push us to consume more sugary items. I am here today to help you reduce as much as possible those cravings and try to manage stress in order to survive during this confinement and to feel better, healthier, and be motivated to actually check all the videos that are on iLearn and that are specially dedicated to you for your well-being, your fitness, and your mental well-being as well. Our menu for today is going to be very interesting, versatile, maybe with some innovative recipes using ingredients that you have in your kitchen cupboard, but you never thought about combining together. For breakfast, I'm going to suggest a cake that's here. What I smell is coffee, and yes, it is a cake based on coffee. I started preparing it by whisking 4 eggs with some vanilla. Then I added a cup of powdered sugar. Then I added 3/4 cup of low-fat yogurt, mixed very well together. What I added here is something that's going to be loaded in proteins and that would contain a lot of vitamins and minerals, and it's going to be the Optifast coffee flavor shake. We know very well that Optifast is enriched in all these vitamins, minerals, loaded in proteins. I simply opened the shake, added it to my mixture, mixed them very well together. And then I had to add 3 tablespoons of olive oil. Then I had to dilute 2 teaspoons of Nescafe in a bit of hot water and add it in order to enhance the coffee flavor in that cake. Finally, I added a small bowl of homemade marmalade, that is jam made from a certain type of oranges that I have in my garden. It's bitter, not very sweet, so it adds this bitter / slightly sweet taste and the texture of the orange peels that will also add a certain crunchiness, in addition to a handful of crushed walnuts that have been added, mixed, and then I transferred everything to a baking tray and I cooked it in the oven at 200 degrees for around 30 minutes until I inserted the toothpick and it came out clean. I highly recommend you try this cake. It's really delicious for those who feel like eating something sweet in the morning. If you're not in the mood for something sweet, what are you going to prepare? Halloumi lovers, this one is for you. You need to be aware that yes, halloumi is nutritious, it's rich in calcium. We just need to be careful about the portions and how we are eating halloumi. If I personally had to prepare a sandwich, I would put a lot of halloumi in order to feel the taste of halloumi. But I have a suggestion for you. How about you try this? You take an eggplant, cut it into cubes, you add some thyme to it, salt, and then you roast it in the oven with some colorful cherry tomatoes. Now it's time for us to transfer this to our bowl and to add halloumi cubes. And here we can enjoy eating them with some drizzles of olive oil and a very small amount of bread if we wish. If not, we can just feel satiated by eating eggplants that are loaded in fiber and will help us feel full for a longer period of time. Before jumping to our lunch menu, I'm pretty sure that in between your breakfast and lunch, you made sure to have 2 to 3 portions of fruits. Lunchtime. Today our recipe is gonna be fish siyadiyeh. When I say I want to be more productive, I need to focus on foods that are gonna help me become smarter, more focused. What are these types of foods? Fish and seafood, because they are loaded in omega-3. Omega-3 is essential and it's gonna help us not only become smarter but also become healthier. And with our Maggi siyadiyeh mix, that makes our life easier because all the ingredients that we usually use for the siyadiyeh that we have in our kitchen cupboard are all in here. And your ma is good looking, so hush, little baby, don't you cry. Oh, one of these mornings, spread your wings and fly, and then take to the sky. But till that morning, with mommy and daddy standing by. Afternoon snack time. I'm pretty sure that you're sitting there wondering what I'm gonna eat now. I feel a bit hungry. It's very good to be snacking on anything in between lunch and dinner in order for you not to be extremely hungry at dinner time and to have this Hoover effect of eating everything that's in front of you, and in order for you to energize yourself and to be able to keep on working until you're done with your working hour from home. For you, I prepared 2 different snacks. The first one is inspired from the lazy cake that we all like, that we all actually know how to prepare at home by using biscuits with cocoa, with eggs, with sugar. Some actually add some condensed milk to it. Others simply add some milk to it, mix them all together and freeze them in the freezer and then cut them and enjoy eating them. To those who prepare it this way, just make sure to get biscuits that are made from flour, butter, better than getting biscuits that are made from palm oil. Make sure your cocoa is 100% cocoa. And try reducing the amount of sugar you actually add to this recipe. As an alternative to those who would like to enhance this recipe in proteins, you could be using Optifast dessert chocolate, mix it with water, and then add it to Kit Kat cut into different particles, mix them all together, place them in a nylon wrap and put them in the mold and freeze them for around 24 hours. The next day you can cut them and this is what it's gonna look like. It's really tasty, it's fulfilling because of the high protein content of the dessert chocolate of Optifast, and it's much enjoyable. As another alternative to fruits lovers who didn't have their 2 to 3 portions of fruits during the first snack in between breakfast and lunch, this one's for you. You simply need to get fresh strawberries, cut them this way, Add to them a vanilla bean, add sema, add lemon juice, and some freshly chopped mint leaves. Mix them all together and bake them in the oven for around 10 to 15 minutes. Then you take a large spoon of this mixture, add to it a tablespoon or two of labneh, some lemon zest, and a tablespoon or two of fitness granola. What you get is something that's super delicious. It's actually one of my favorite afternoon snacks. Much refreshing, much satiating because of the fiber content of granola, because of the calcium content that's found in labneh, and all the juiciness and antioxidants found in our berries and lemon zest. Dinner time, and we have a super duper bowl. We all love hummus. Chickpeas are loaded in fiber. They are loaded in proteins as well. They do contain carbs, but not as much as we think. Yes, we do need to eat them in moderation, not to be consuming a huge amount of chickpeas. Reason for which, in our salad bowl today, we're gonna have lettuce. We're gonna add to the lettuce a couple of boiled chickpeas, to which we can add any spice we want. Some like it with cumin, others like it with some cinnamon. A dollop of hummus b'tahine, or chickpeas blended with tahini taste, lemon juice, and salt. And we're gonna add some colored tomatoes and a mixture of labneh and feta with za'atar. Mixed all together, the super bowl is really delicious. This dinner is gonna be much satiating.